Alright, so this is how you cut a slot for a pickup switch. You can see here I've got a lot of failed attempts to cut a straight line. We had a Dremel bit here, and it kind of made a, I don't know, just wasn't a very uniform line. The router bit, a very small router bit with a 2x4 straight edge, did a pretty good job, but it kind of left a round thing here. And then, you know, the router was also not very predictable, and I got some pretty awful ones trying to use it as well. But I have found the perfect solution, which makes this slot about like this, which is nice and uniform. It's perfectly straight, and it's actually just the right thickness for that switch to come through and not hit anything. So it's pretty perfect. So what you got to do is you need an X-Acto knife like this, and you also need, and it doesn't have to be broken, although the way I found this was that I had broke a jigsaw bit, and you can kind of, it's kind of blurry. It's just a really small bit. This is a pencil for comparison. It's a wood bit. I think it was 20 teeth per inch wood bit for a jigsaw. And it doesn't have to be broken. It can just be a bit. But what you do to start out is you want to draw your line, a straight line for where you want to cut your pickup slot, or your selector switch slot. So you just use whatever you can to draw a straight line. Straight line. Take your X-Acto knife, and what you're going to do is start at one end. You might start in just a little bit, and make sure your wood's kind of supported on something, but you're going to take it and you just go straight down, and you're going to push, and you can kind of rock it back and forth if you have to get it all the way through the wood. And then once you've got it all the way through, you're going to push down like this, kind of like a paper cutter. The second thing you're going to do is about the width of that switch, you're going to go over that far, which is just a hair, and start the same spot next to it. Do the exact same thing you just did. So you have two little tiny parallel lines, and you can't really see them, but you'll have two little parallel lines there. And then you gotta get that middle piece out between the two, which might take some poking and stuff with your X-Acto knife. But you know, I'm just gonna use my bit to get it out. And if you just work it in there, of course it's not going to work smooth when I'm trying to record this. There. So now it's through, and I'm not worried about this piece splitting, but if you're worried about it splitting, you can use your X-Acto knife to get that little middle piece out. But once you get that blade through, you're going to need to put your wood on something so you can get the blade all the way through, or if it's mounted on the guitar, you know, whatever. But then you're just going to take that blade, and you're actually just going to saw with it. And it saws a perfectly straight line as long as you're going with the grain of the wood. And it actually cuts pretty fast. And so, you know, I'm not going to go all the way, but you might then turn the blade around, and you can go back and smooth out that spot where you started with the X-Acto knife. And so then you end up with a nice little slot for your switch to come through. And it's perfectly straight, it's nice and uniform. It looks like from one of the great factories. Alright, so get an X-Acto knife and a blade and go at it.